Well, thanks for tuning into the Grid Center. I am your host, Shane Falco, along with my co-host, Little D. Still on Little D.
Yeah.
And we are here to bring you the SEC playoff recap / championship game preview for the SEC. And in this conference, we have the 1 versus 2 matchups. And I'd like to mention that this is the first time ever in every conference the 1 versus 2 has made the final in every conference.
Yeah, no, I remember. It's good. I mean, seating went perfectly. You know, the Sandbaggers, they played it where they needed to play it, so it didn't look too dominant. So kudos to everybody in the championship this weekend.
Yeah, I think it goes to show that this season, more than any other, we had a significant drop off from the top 2 teams going down. Like conference play was conference play,
yeah.
But when we hit the playoffs, I mean, the cream of the crop pretty much rose at the top.
Yeah,
and I mean, it was, I think, more this season than any other season that's been the case, and we had a lot less parity than we normally have. So whether it's good or not, regardless, it should make some great championship games. So, in DX's road to get there, they only had they played the one game just like the other, like TMT had, and they faced the Bad Boys, who pulled off a mini upset over Sick-Witted, really dominating that game, and then DX turned around and just took him to the woodshed.
Yeah,
and it was pretty ugly, pretty bad.
Yeah, those guys. You stated off camera that the Bad Boys is probably one of the, if not the fastest team in the league, and I think what they're missing is leadership in the quarterback spot. And I think once they find that, if they could find a quarterback that can deal with all the yelling and all the hype, then they should take that team to another level. But their problem was not the quarterback. Their problem was defense.
Right. Yeah, they did not show up to this game the way they have. They've played DX tough a few times, and this was not one of those times.
No.
And you're right. I mean, breaking them down, the quarterback position, I mean, if they can legitimately threaten you down the field throwing the ball, then I think it opens up that running game they like to do a little bit. And right now, DX was able to defend it because they had no threat of the pass.
Yeah.
TMT, they played no limit in their game, and another taking them to the woodshed. TMT came in a full roster. Everybody was there like usual, and it was all business. What can you say? No Limit looked bad all day. They really had no business beating Rebel Alumni. Rebel Alumni just could not close them out. I mean, they did everything they could to lose that game, and they just ended up being better with their talent.
Yeah.
But I think the 2 teams that need to be there are there, and it should be a great game. A lot of people talk about how DX took TMT out pretty easily in the regular season. Again, it was TMT light. They brought like 10 guys out, missing a lot of key guys.
Was Clee there?
Clee was there, and that was pretty much. They dropped a lot of passes. They had no Little Pert, no Big Pert, no Tweezy. A lot of their main guys weren't there. So,
well, I'm going to go by the formatting. I'll just talk about that just brief. I kind of like the formatting last year where in order for you to get to the championship game, you have to play 3 games, and that's what TMT had to do. And they realized how important that was. That's why they took care of business and got that #1 seed. But I really don't, as far as the game and the championship game as well, I don't see any dominant team. If TMT comes full force with all their players, then they're going to give DX a run for their money.
Right.
It's well documented that, team speed-wise, DX has the advantage, but TMT is going to come out and play a more physical aspect type football game and try to balance everything else out. I spoke to Clee and I spoke to Slim, and they was talking about different mismatches as far as the secondary is concerned, and they see a window of opportunity. It's all about going out there and capitalize.
Right. And DX is going to have some guys that are hungry, some guys that weren't on that team that won the championship.
Oh, yeah.
So you got Josh, Coger,
the fusion guys.
All those guys. So
the fusion guys.
They're looking to be getting their hands on that championship as well.
Yeah.
So obviously they're going to come out pretty motivated. I talked to Tank a little bit before my debacle. I'll get into that in the Mountain West game, but Tank was calling out Jordan because Jordan was talking about how the last championship game he beat Tank
for one sack,
for a sack, and then another one that was called back for an offsides.
But you can't.
But he's looking at the fact that he beat him one-on-one and it didn't affect the play. So Tank wanted it to be known that he's calling Jordan out. So
I'm looking at the DX, and let's go back to the DX Bad Boy game. Jordan really didn't get a lot of playing time. I mean, granted that the Bad Boys really didn't know what the hell they was doing on offense anyway, so they went spread, and once they went spread, they wound up taking the bigger guys out and putting the speed rush in.
Right.
I think they had Peanut. I see Josh. Bear. And then he's seen a lot of time. I hope he gets enough playing time where we can see that matchup with him and Tank.
Right.
I mean, personally, it's just waiting for water to boil. I'm not going to watch that shit. But, if they got a personal vendetta against each other, then they should handle that.
Right.
I'm going to be watching other shit.
I'm not saying for everyone to tune into that. I'm just saying that Tank wants it known he's calling Jordan out, and he wants it documented that he's letting him know that he wants to come get some, he can get some.
Yeah.
Our good friend, the commish, put an over-under out, and he wants to put an over-under out on the times Jordan gets pulled out of this game for whatever reason. So we'll put the over-under. We got to set the bar somewhere. So we want to say 4, over-under 4.
This game is going to be about situations. So if they feel that, I don't want no parts of this shit. I really don't. Jordan's a good friend of mine. He's on staff.
Absolutely.
He is. I don't want no parts of this.
It's just what was put out there.
Okay. What did James say the over-under was?
He just said we should put an over-under on it.
Oh, we should?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said let's go 4.
4 times that he get pulled out of the game?
He gets pulled out of the game. I'm going to take the under.
You take the under, he's going to get yanked out less than 4 times.
Right.
Well, because of the style that TMT plays, a traditional line, I'm not going to touch it.
Well, what do you think?
I'll take the over.
You take the over?
I'll take the over.
You're going to take the over. So you don't want to touch it. He's a good friend. Then you take
He's a good friend, but I'm going to take the over. And the only reason why I say that is, Jordan's good with his hands, and he can get in the backfield and create problems. A lot of sacks since he got it with Clee was because he was the right place at the right time, not that he had to bulldoze through somebody and then go get Clee. So Clee does a lot of juking and moving around and stuff. I got a feeling that they're going to be, and this is what I heard, is that TMT is going to take advantage of the weak link. And being that said, they think that this guy's a weak link and they're going to come to his side, even with Tank over there. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Now, I mean, if they have a lot of success, then, they might put in a speed rush, but that if they put the speed rush in, that goes into the favor of TMT.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. Maybe Fox will get a spot. Maybe Fox will be in there a couple of plays.
So Clee put a good poll out on the forum about what the key to the matchup is. So what do you think that matchup is? I mean,
I think the key to the matchup is going to be the secondary.
Which secondary?
It's on a DX.
DX's secondary versus TMT's wide receivers?
Yeah. And the only reason why I say that is, I'm not going to touch that one either. All I'm saying is,
you got to touch something.
Yeah, I got to touch something, But I just think that there's going to be mismatches if TMT has their whole squad there.
Right.
If they have their whole squad.
And I'm sure there's going to be mismatches on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
For both teams.
Yeah. And I'm going to say this to TMT. I mean, TMT, it seems like whatever goes down in DX defense, it's always happening on the right-hand side of the ball. On the left-hand side usually is Overton. And you can forget, don't even throw to that fucking good side. I mean, he's got everything on smash. Don't throw it over there. It's Darrell Rivas of the flag football.
So whole island,
yeah.
So now you know for sure that they're going to attack that.
No, they're not.
To try it.